and finish off that flame,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Are you listening to yourself right
Right?
now?
Right?
Are you
All
listening
right.
to yourself right now?
That's a
Because
no, go, and then let's go on to the
he's trying
next
to avoid
one.
it because our relationship is like that because I like to attack it head on, but someone likes to take his time. But it's like you can give a little bit of time, but try to get it done. Like try to talk about it within
Yep.
the first
Like
within
how
the
I told
first
you guys not to do this,
within the first 10 minutes of it,
I'm going to
okay?
do the no red flag, and we're gonna go on to the next one.
Okay. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Couple Show. I'm Kelsey,
And I'm Justin.
and this is actually our second time recording this because the first time we recorded like 16 minutes into it, our audio is going, but
We forgot to
this
press record on our video.
yeah.
So this is gonna be that's my fault, and it's okay.
It's
We're
okay.
gonna we're gonna we're gonna conti- we're gonna imagine like we didn't talk about anything, and we're gonna start
We're gonna
again.
try to touch base on all the things that we talked in our
Yes.
fail.
Yes. And
But
what's today's video topic?
yeah, today's video topic is very interesting. 10 red flags in a relationship. And this is part
1, and so we're only gonna do 5. So we actually tried to do all 10 in one
Mhm.
video, and it came out to be like an hour long.
Mhm.
And like, who wants to listen to a podcast for an hour long, right?
Yeah, so we just decided that making part 1 and part 2 would be easier.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about 5 today, and we're going to try to limit it to less than 20 minutes because
Yeah.
it seems like all our audience doesn't want to listen past like 20 minutes. So we're gonna keep it a little
Which,
shorter.
in case if we ramble too much, you can always speed us up.
Sure. But
Especially on YouTube. Just a
I don't know
hint.
if you can do that on. Oh, you can do that on podcast. You guys can do that.
I'm not sure. Actually.
But before we get started, we are on Spotify now.
Yeah, exciting. We're on Spotify and we're also on Podbean.
We're on Podbean,
Mhm.
and then we're also on YouTube, as you guys know.
Mhm.
And then
Which there are apps for all three: YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean. If you want to just get the app and just follow us.
mhm. And then we will be on Apple iTunes in a couple of days. From what I
Yeah.
remember, I think they are still pending on our podcast, which
Mhm.
I will have to call them probably and clarify some
Mhm.
things. But you guys should see us on Apple iTunes soon too.
But
So
we'll keep you updated on those.
yep, and you guys will have all the links and stuff that Kelsey will probably do for you guys.
Yeah.
I don't like doing any of that, so
Updates will be mostly on Instagram, so at the Unfiltered Couple Show.
all right, let's continue. All right,
Okay.
or let's go on to the video. Yeah.
All right, so in part 1, here are our first 5 red flags in a relationship. And just to make a disclaimer note, we have not experienced any of these, maybe in the slightest, but not to its very extent. And these are things that we've researched and nitpicked and taken out the most interesting and best ones that we wanted to talk about. So the first red flag is controlling and gaslighting.
Controlling
for-
and gaslighting. So, what is gaslighting, Kelsey?
So, I mean, it's basically gaining power and control over your partner.
Yeah, so basically
Superiority complex.
in terms of simple-minded creatures like me, it just means just having more control than the other person.
Yeah.
In a very excessive way, like
yeah,
to
to
a
have
point
an advantage over the person and to the point where
where
the other person could take
blah.
advantage of you.
Yep. So in our case, we're thinking more of an abusive relationship, right?
Mhm.
Do you agree?
I mean, like, extreme example.
Yeah, an extreme example would be abusive relationship, right? Where one person has the say in the whole relationship and the other person has no say, right? So like a pet feature, like a pet, what do you call it?
We'll just say pet complex. I mean,
Yeah, where like
pet
one person
relationship.
is like the owner of the other, right? In terms of that, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be where like you cannot say anything you want to say,
Yeah.
right? And
You deserve to have a say in your relationship.
yeah, and like if you're in a relationship where like one person or one partner is commanding you to do things and you have to listen to that person,
Especially if it's something you don't want to do.
right. And I think, well, I mean, you can joke around, right? There's light things where I don't think that's a red flag. I think it's just like, you're just
And
messing
you'll know
around.
if it's a joke. You'll know.
Yeah. But like to a terms where you guys aren't laughing it out and like, ooh, the heater came on. Okay.
Um,
But yeah, where it comes to the point where you can't say anything,
mhm.
right? I think that's big problems,
Yeah.
right?
And that goes with like just verbally saying stuff, like having a say in the relationship, but also like if they control like excessively what you want to wear or what you want to do or, what you want to eat, and you're not on the same page as that and you have a very different opinion on that, that's definitely a red flag.
Also, guys, if you hear crackling and pops in the
The
background,
heater just
that's our
turned on,
heater. I'm so sorry. I should have turned that off. Um,
but we'll try to speak a little louder.
yes, and I think I can take it out. So if you guys don't hear anything,
We fixed
ignore
it.
it. Yeah, we fixed it. But if you do,
Sorry.
in some parts, yeah, I'm apologizing right now for you guys.
Okay.
All right, number two.
Number two, the second red flag in relationship is feeling insecure.
Yes, and I think this can come in many ways,
Yeah.
but
Over time.
over time. But I think a big way is like, you know, also goes with tip number one is a controlling factor
Mhm.
where controlling factor
The
where
controlling and gaslighting,
mhm,
where the
where
insecurity leads to that.
where one person just has too much control, right, and more dominance, right,
Or
and
that leads to the insecurity, yeah.
and you open up to your partner saying, "Hey, that's one of my insecurities," but the other partner just brushes it away
Hmm.
and just keeps making fun of you for
And
that
picking
reason.
at you
Uh
like a
huh.
bully.
Uh huh.
Why?
Nothing.
Did I cut you off?
No. To a point where like you now feel like your insecurity is even bigger, right? And I think that's a big problem because you should have a relationship where you are not, well, you can have your insecurities, but it's good to know that your partner is there to know about your insecurities and not worry and like say something about your insecurities,
Yeah,
right?
your partner should be able to support you. I'm trying to think before I
Okay.
speak. Support you and know your flaws. You should
Mm-hmm.
be open
Right.
enough to talk about your flaws with each other,
Mm-hmm.
but they shouldn't be putting you down for that. They should support you and your
Mm-hmm.
flaws,
Yeah,
not highlight them and pick at you for and make you feel insecure.
right. And I think that's once again a no red flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag if they
Oh, I
keep
like
doing
that. I'm
that.
gonna say no red flag. All right. What's
All
number
right,
three
our
now?
third no red flag is justifying bad behavior. This is a unique one and a pretty big one as well.
Well, I think in terms of, well, what I think of this in terms of is more like drugs,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good example.
Because drugs are like, you know, people have, I'm not saying that like this doesn't happen, but in a lot of relationships, the main part of the relationship revolves around drugs,
Hmm.
right? And because drugs is one of that things that bonds them together, right?
Hmm.
And like that justifies them doing bad behaviors together,
Hmm.
right? And it makes them make bad decisions because
Judgment
yeah,
takes
because
away
of
from their
one reason,
judgment.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think in a terms of if it's where like one of your partners is bringing you to do this thing, right? And
To
you have
do illegal bad
it's not
actions.
even illegal, just
Morally
things that you don't want to
bad.
do,
Yeah.
right? And you have to say like, "Hey, I'll do this," because you're in the relationship where you think that like if you say no, you're going to like lose your relationship or
Hmm.
something bad's
Have
gonna happen.
consequences.
Yeah, then that becomes a negative part of a relationship. So I
Hmm.
think being able to understand what's bad and right and understand that your partner will understand what your feelings are and
Hmm.
tell you straight up and not have to what do you say, like pretend or like
Hmm.
lie about things that is bad,
Hmm.
telling them that, hey, yeah, you did a good job,
You did a
you
good job like robbing that building. Like, oh, he
uh-huh.
must have had a good reason to do that. That's what we mean by justifying bad behavior to an
Right.
extreme note.
And to a point where you can't have your say in the relationship,
But
right?
you know it's bad deep inside,
Uh-huh.
but you love that person so much or you care about that person so much that you justify and
Right.
or in other words, you accept that behavior when you
Mm-hmm.
really know it's wrong.
Right.
So really follow your gut on all of these.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth no red flag in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship is simply put unable to talk through your issues.
Yeah, this is a big one. I think this is something that a lot of relationships have, right?
Yeah,
In
and
the
we've gone
beginning.
through this.
But as you grow as a relationship, you
Uh-huh.
guys become better and better at
Communicating.
communicating and talking about your issues.
Yeah.
But the ones that we're talking about is more of like a long-term problem that's been going on, and you guys just haven't been able to resolve because
Maybe even the same topic.
yeah, and you guys just don't talk about it. And it's one of those things. It's like I'm gonna give you guys an analogy. It's like, when a fire happens in a house, right? And I said this in the other one, so I know what I'm
This is a
saying,
good
guys.
analogy.
But yeah, that's why Kelsey's laughing. It's like
Analogy time.
it's like there's a fire in the home, right? And then you leave the home, right? But you know that you should go to the center where the flame, like where the fire started, so you can stop all the flame or the fires. But you're just pouring out, water onto the smaller flames, right? If you pour water on the smaller flames, nothing really happens. The main core actually gets bigger and bigger until the point where the whole house would just collapse on each other, right? And like you guys can think of it like that. It's like you need to get to the core of the problem, not the minor issues, right? Not just tackling minor things. You need to go to the center of the problem and attack it itself.
That can also be a coping method to do just the smaller things on the side.
Yeah, and it's thing where like you just need to man up and
Avoid
talk
the
about it.
issue.
Yeah, I think it's just to a point where you're just so afraid, right? But like I said, it's like a ticking bomb. It's going to come to a point where the house, or in terms of a relationship, will just crumble in, right? So you have to like, I don't want to say man up, but just be an adult and talk about things and just get things through, right? That like, hey, we've got to be able to attack the core problem instead of just attacking the minor things, like telling them, like incentivizing them that like we'll just brush it under the rug and then we'll continue off with the day. But then if you realize the next time you guys talk, like have an argument and it's the same problem, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. It's like, we had this problem like 2 days ago.
Unresolved issues.
Yeah, it will build and build and build, and you guys will like sort of crumble in with each other. It's like, maybe she's not the right person to me, or like maybe he's not the right person to me because like we can't communicate and this doesn't happen. And those feelings will pop up in your head. And I think that's something that you guys should just both need to attack. Like the moment it happens, attack it, because that's the best way. When the flame is too
That's me
big,
in our relationship. That's me.
right? When the flame is too big, it's too much to handle, right? There's so many like other things that are happening that you're trying to burn down, or trying to like, what do you call it, like die it down, and then to get to the core. But when it just starts, right, the fire is brand new, and it's easier to just attack that and finish off that flame, right?
Are you listening to yourself right now?
Right.
Are you listening to yourself right now?
Because that's a no, go, and then let's go on to the next
He's trying to avoid it because our relationship is like that, because I like to attack it head on, but someone likes to take his time. But it's like you can give a little bit of time, but try to get it done. Like try to talk about it within the first within
how I
first,
told you guys not to do this.
Within the first 10 minutes of
I'm
it,
going to do the no red flag, and we're going to go on to the next one.
Okay. Our fifth? Oh, our fifth and last one for this part one.
And this will actually be less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I like to be at 20 though.
Okay. All right, next one.
Our last and fifth red flag for this part one is breaking boundaries. Ooh.
All right. So what does that mean in a relationship, Kelsey?
So basically, like,
basically,
an example could be like.
What's your example?
Like, I don't want to hold hands with you, right? Right now, I don't want to hold hands with you, and I don't think we're at that point yet, right? For example. But yet you still try to hold hands with me.
Well, okay. So,
that's just a little small example.
Yep. So I think breaking boundaries are giving yourself or your partner some space, right? Like, do not force anything. Do not make them do things that they don't want to do. And I think that's the same definition of forcing. But in terms of breaking boundaries, right, that person has their own personal bubble, right? Just because you're in a relationship does not mean
doors.
Yeah, like the personal bubble is now popped, right? Everyone has their own. It's not like the moment you guys are in a relationship, your
They're
minds are together,
doors.
right? It's not like there's a wire that connects you guys, and then like you guys can like sort of be together. Well, like you guys are like one, right? Yes, in terms of that, yes, you guys are one, but mentally you guys are not one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to sort of force things that your partner just doesn't want because they have a boundary that they want to keep to,
Yeah.
and you have a boundary that you want to
Yeah.
keep
And
to.
this goes with like ethical morals and standards and values
Yeah,
as
so it's
well.
like to a point where like if they're, you know, I'm just gonna say religion, like if they're Buddhist, right, and you're Christian, right, you can't just go ahead and say stop being Buddhist, you're gonna be Christian now, right? That's I mean, you can work towards it, but you cannot just break their boundaries of their relationship, their religion all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden and tell them that they can't be a Buddha. Like that's something that you have to talk about before you can start working through, right? So like breaking down walls before you get to the core, right? But like when you just go straight head first, you know, I mean, it's like, are you sure that's gonna work? I don't think that's gonna work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like you should be able to talk things through.
Yeah, and you should never do things if you notice that your partner keeps like nudging you to like do something you don't want to do, and it's like a core value that you hold to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what girl? Like don't
Oh
don't
my gosh, that was nasty. Okay, anyways.
like girl. You can do so much better. You have your own core values, and just because that one person doesn't agree with that, like you stand by your own,
Right.
is what
So
I'm saying.
I guess end of the day is be you, right? And don't let the other person shape you to a person that you aren't.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are our 5 no red flags. I like no go go. I don't know.
No, go go.
I don't know.
No,
All right.
no red flags.
Yep. Those
in
are
a
our
relationship.
5 no red flags in a relationship.
And we
part
have 5
1.
more.
And for the next video, we'll give you guys part 2. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as much as we did. We loved just talking on the camera and talking about these topics. And it seems like you guys do like it too.
Shout out to all of you guys who have supported us this far.
I'm not really into the social media stuff.
But
I'm
I've been
more
letting
of the,
you know.
Yeah, so Kelsey's
So.
letting me know. And if you guys have any topics, let us know. You can DM us on Instagram or email us
Or YouTube.
YouTube. I mean, just reach out to us in any way, shape, or form. And probably Kelsey, in her free time, which she has a lot, will reach out to you guys.
Yeah, I reply very fast.
She likes to communicate really fast. I'm not as fast of a communicator because I've got some stuff that a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But Kelsey will be with you and
Yeah.
she will be your guardian. Just kidding. But yeah, you guys can talk to us on all our social media platforms, and we'll see you guys in the next
one.
No, the next
Part
5.
2.
The next 5 no red flag part 2. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.